I wasn't much of a gamer in the 90s, and as my channel name suggests, I'm older than your average player. So when people reminisce about Contra, my only real reference is the OG NES version. And I've never even played Metal Slug. But I totally get gaming nostalgia. Watching Guns of Fury reviews, I loved seeing people light up about the games they grew up with. Few things make me happier than seeing that kind of passion. And so here I am, a bit of a noob to this style, giving it a fresh shot. And I'm so glad I did because Guns of Fury is awesome. You punch, stab, and shoot things, and they explode in the most spectacular ways. The game blends run and gun action with Metroidvania exploration, making for an absolute blast. But aside from the obvious fun of blowing stuff up, let's get into why this game is such a success.
Narrative.
You're Vincent Fury, a badass operative with one mission in mind: stop a madman from killing us all. The story takes place in the near future, where the world's on the brink of an energy crisis. Dr. Klaus, a genius scientist, develops a solution called the Tetracell. Just as hope emerges, Klaus and his Tetracell vanish, and his lab goes up in flames. The prime suspect is A. Easton. I don't know what the A stands for. The CEO of Easton Industries, who seems dead set on turning the Tetracell into a weapon of mass destruction. Vincent needs to infiltrate Easton's facility and literally save the world. The story's solid. It sets up a brutal, chaotic world that fuels the relentless action. But let's be honest. You're here to run, and you're here to gun, and you're here to blow up anything that moves. Do you really care about the plot? Probably not. But the devs put together an engaging narrative anyway. So carefully read what NPCs and memos scattered throughout the game say, think about your choices, and stay a step ahead. Or you can do what I did and consult YouTube. Either way, you're bound to have a good time. One thing the narrative is missing is a bit of humor. Not that the game takes itself too seriously, but it would have been fun to add some silly moments among all the running and gunning. Overall though, the narrative's got everything you need: a grizzled operative, an evil corporate villain, a kidnapped scientist, and a world hanging in the balance. It's simple, yet effective. I want to also give the game props for having side quests, as they're not usually a thing in run and guns, from what I understand. Unfortunately, they were mostly fetch quests though, so a little more imagination would have been even better. Finally, closing scenes leave things open-ended, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a sequel in the next year or two. Okay, let's move on.
Graphics and art direction.
It's like the devs received a request. Give us pixel art, but make it cool. And they delivered. The art direction isn't just cool, it's downright scenic at times. You can see moving clouds and birds in the background. The bullets, pulse waves, and lasers are fluidly animated and look awesome in motion. But don't stop and stare because you'll get wrecked if you aren't constantly moving. You'll also want to shoot constantly because shooting things can reveal secrets, and who doesn't love secrets? The world has a great range of biomes. Forts, there's jungles, industrial areas, and there's even sewers. They each look distinct and are fun to blast through. These environments turn out to be interactive. You get to shoot cannons, run power drills, and then there are the mechs. Mechs are these OP robot suits you can control once you've found the keys for them. They can fly, shoot projectiles, and punch their way through levels. You can even get an item to heal them so you can make them last just a little longer. So while the graphics in Guns of Fury don't reinvent the wheel, they function well, not just as eye candy, but also as an important part of gameplay. So that covers the graphics and art direction. What's next?
Music and sound design.
The soundtrack is pure adrenaline, mostly hard rock, and it fits the game's testosterone-fueled destruction like a glove. Sound design is incredibly effective as well. Explosions hit hard, enemies let out satisfying screams when you take them down, and the planes, helicopters, and other vehicles sound as powerful as they look. The music itself changes based on your location, which is a nice touch, and it helps you feel that much more immersed in the action. Composer Dominic Minmark absolutely nailed it. No surprise there. His work on Blazing Chrome and Viviette already proved he knows how to deliver high-energy, pulse-pounding tracks that elevate the action. Guns of Fury is no exception. So we covered the music, and it absolutely delivers, but now let's get into what makes or breaks a game.
Gameplay and mechanics.
This is where the fun is. Vincent feels great to control. jumps and dashes and dodges are smooth and responsive, which is crucial for tricky platforming. Now for combat, you'll want to use careful strategy. Okay, no you don't. It's a run and gun, so just button mash and you'll have no trouble cleaning out each room. The weapon variety is massive. Vincent's loadout is built around 5 key categories, giving you plenty of ways to tear through enemies. First up is the small gun slot, which includes 10 different sidearms, mostly pistols with varying firepower and abilities. Then there's the heavy weapon slot, where you'll get 27 big guns, including assault rifles, shotguns, and some other heavy hitters. Now if blowing things up is more your style, the explosive category has 23 different mines, grenades, bombs, and other throwable objects, each with unique effects. This kinda makes up for not being able to shoot diagonally because you can use your grenades to toss at the harder to reach enemies. If you want to get up close and personal, the melee weapon slot lets you choose from 14 brutal tools like switchblades and brass knuckles to pipes and other instruments to crack some skulls. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Vincent's biological guns are stronger than his actual ones, so punching the crap out of enemies is more than a viable strategy. Health, ammo, and grenade bars are all neatly displayed on the HUD. And while the number of available weapons is impressive, you do need to pause if you want to switch within a weapon category, and at least at the time of this review, there's no way to set up multiple loadouts. You also have to pause to heal, making boss fights a lot easier if you're well stocked. I understand why this system is in place because buttons get assigned to other actions and there's only so much controller mapping the devs could do, but it's still a shame. I think healing in real time makes gameplay feel more strategic and makes defeating those bosses feel like well-earned victories. Even so, boss fights, and there are about a dozen of them, are fun and challenging, and they have cool movesets that are rewarding to learn, even if they're not the most complicated. So the handgun type weapons have unlimited ammo, while the heavy weapon ammo and grenades are limited and replenished at checkpoints. You can buy items that let you refill these on the fly. A lot of the weapons themselves can be purchased at various vendors, while others are discoverable. One of the best weapons is obtained as part of a side quest, and it just melts enemies. Progress, like any other Metroidvania, is dependent on obtaining abilities and then backtracking in order to use them. You'll also need to do some light puzzle solving. Checkpoints are spaced appropriately and are the only places where you can save, so if you die, you lose all your progress since the last save. For the majority of the time I played the game, fast travel points were few and spread out, making the cleanup phase tedious. Not only did you have to traverse long distances, you also had to fight your way through enemies that respawn as soon as you leave the room. You'd think this would give you a lot of currency to spend at vendors, and while it does, currency is not a guaranteed drop and it's sometimes pretty cheap. There is a buff you can use to increase the chances of currency dropping, and there are some good farming spots. I say this because in order to get your plat, you're going to have to buy every single weapon available at the various shops, and some of them are expensive. That said, at the end of my run through New Game Plus, there was a patch that improved upon the few flaws in the game. Fast travel between all checkpoints is now possible after obtaining a late game item, and the map, which is monochrome, is now different colors, making it easier to follow. Also, there are some markings on the map that weren't there before, and there are more NPCs who will tell you where to go next and mark the locations on the map for you. The map is customizable, allowing you to place different colored markers, though the number of markers you have placed at any given time is limited. All in all, the gameplay of this run and gun Metroidvania combo is very well done.
Value and replayability.
The game is $15 on Steam, which is a steal. And New Game Plus, a rare feature in the Metroidvania genre, is especially fun since you retain most of your weapons and items, except for those tied to quests or required for progression. Since there's no difficulty setting, players looking for a challenge will find it in New Game Plus, where enemies hit harder and put your skills to the test. With so much to do, it's absolutely worth your hard-earned money. I enjoyed this game so much that I played it for 60 hours. In one playthrough, I nearly filled out the entire map, 100%ed it in New Game Plus, and I unlocked all the remaining endings. Since I like to savor my games, the average player will probably take about 30 hours to get all the trophies, as you'll need to complete New Game Plus and see every ending in order to achieve them. Oh, and I almost forgot. This brilliant game was made by a handful of people. The names in the credits fit on one screen, which is unbelievable. So support these talented folks.
The Maestro Mark.
I rate games based on 5 categories: each worth up to 2 points. Add them together, and you get a score out of 10, the Maestro Mark. For 2025, I've introduced a bonus of 0.5 points for games that are particularly enjoyable beyond their objective merits, which I call the fun factor. Narrative, 1.5 points. It's a solid story and above average for the genre, but a bit of humor would have been nice, and side quests could have been a little more creative. Graphics and art direction, 2 points. There's nothing about this that I didn't like. The visuals suit the game perfectly. Music and sound design, 2 points. The heavy metal style matches the game's vibes, with lots of tracks that make each biome unique. Gameplay and mechanics, 1.5 points. Almost perfect, but better loadout options and real-time healing would have been even more satisfying, especially in boss fights. Value and replayability, 2 points. With tons of gameplay, multiple endings, and New Game Plus, there are plenty of reasons to come back, and at $15, it's a good deal. Fun factor? Of course, 0.5 points. The game was a blast. That gives Guns of Fury a Maestro Mark of 9.5, which means I think you'll love it. Guns of Fury is a perfect fusion of running gun action and Metroidvania exploration. I had a blast playing it, and 100%ing it felt incredibly rewarding. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. Take care, and we'll see you for the next one.